everyone. Welcome to Let's Talk Tobago. I'm Amadara Mills. We're coming to you from day one of the World Food Day exhibition taking place at the Dwight York Stadium Parade Ground. In this episode, we're bringing you all the happenings from not just one, but 3 World Food Day events which took place over several days. We have the first day of the exhibition, as you can see behind me. Then we take you to the Little Great River Cocoa experience. After that, we go to the grand opening of the Shore Park Food Hub. I can't wait for it all. It's going to be an exciting journey. So stay with us. Let's Talk Tobago starts now.
So nice, say whoa, welcome to paradise, you will feel so nice in Tobago. This party island, the vibes it's strong like white rum, boy, party sweet on the road, from your reach you gon' know. It's bacchanal non-stop, this song go leave we and come back, boy, party sweet on the road, from your reach you gon' know. Come join the Gonyan band, take the Gonyan jam. Nothing sweeter than to be Gonyan. Now join the Gonyan band, in the Gonyan gram. Nothing sweeter than to be Gonyan. Cause the carnival sweet like Tobago, the condensed milk in the cocoa. The girl them hot like Sambo and bad like Rambo. Right now they're winding down low. The carnival sweet like Tobago, it feel like winning the lotto.
Today I'm feeling nice. Today I'm feeling nice. I say today I'm feeling nice, nice.
Can you tell us, what do you think about this exhibition, this event that you're attending here today?
It is really great because it is actually like my first time. I went when I was younger, but I'm glad I get to go while I'm a little bigger to remember these great things I've seen here. I saw fish, I saw a lot of homemade things which are really great for the environment, and I just love it.
Well, my name is John Colin Cooper. My business is JCC Designs. I have all hand painted, handcrafted, crafted items, local materials mostly, stuff like driftwood, corals, stuff that you can get easily access to. So far they're now coming in, and yes, many people come and they're surprised to see certain things. You know, when they look at the birdhouses, and they see what it's being made of, and they see the familiar materials, they're shocked. I think it's a wonderful return. I think I'm looking at the young people, they're excited when they came, they look at the booth, they're excited. It's something to inspire the young ones into getting into either maybe craft, maybe food processing, but it's a wonderful idea.
It's going fairly okay, you know, people coming and looking around and budgeting and comparing prices, but you know, it's good so far. It is an excellent
initiative because you know the food crisis and food shortage. We have to understand that as Tobagonians, and we have to value the importance of agriculture because we have soil, plantable soil, fertile soil that we can plant our own crops. And I carry flowers and I carry the supplies as well. So you can always check me out.
And what do you think about this World Food Day exhibition here today?
Actually, excellent. Excellent. As you see, I have some plants here. I'm going to put these in the car and come back and purchase just as much.
So far, so good. They have a nice price range with some of the vegetables and stuff, and they have nice plants and stuff that we're able to get.
I think this exhibition is an excellent one. It gives a lot of exposure to the public, all right? Persons can come and get involved into agriculture, learn more about agriculture, educate themselves more. And even here, we have been doing for the entire morning, a lot of persons have been coming, asking questions concerning diseases and pests in plants and so on, and we have been giving them the necessary advice.
What do you think about the exhibition here today?
Well, I'm so happy it's back because after 2 years, you know, a lot of us were home not doing anything, but I'm so happy that I used to do my own home gardening. So I didn't miss out, you know, but I'm happy that it's back, and I'm happy to see a lot of people have produce selling all the different things, and everyone is out here enjoying themselves. I myself are having a good time.
As much as this is an exhibition, it must not be lost on us as for the real purpose of celebrating World Food Day, which is to, as much as possible, reduce hunger and poverty within our national space, our region, and the world. I must remember last weekend, listening to Mr. Ruben Robertson, the FAO representative, and he was at a function in Trinidad, and he was making the point about how we cannot take for granted, how we must not take for granted the availability of food and how easy we can find ourselves in a situation where food availability is scarce. And he was making the point in regards to Haiti, and we all know the situation that is taking place in Haiti. So we must not take food for granted and what's available and what we must do to make food available, and not just food, but food that is of nutritious and food that is of quality.
There's so much to take in while at this exhibition, but we leave it here for now and hop over to the Little Great River and the Pembroke Heritage Park for the cocoa experience.
I took a team of my technical officers with me to experience the cocoa industry in Grenada. And we have all this natural cocoa in Tobago, over 140 acres right here at Le. And I said to them, look, let us learn how to bring back the fields into productivity. And we have so many natural resources around, so much beauty. So let us learn to monetize it in the very same way that Grenada has chosen to monetize their natural resources. And they have no oil and gas, but they have survived on their local tourism. So when I returned to Tobago, I said, look, let us open an agro-ecotourism unit and let us create a product. And out of that, you have the Little Great River Cocoa Experience.
We are here with Tamika Seals Manzano, the chairperson for the Little Great River Cocoa Experience on the committee. So Tamika, give us an idea of what's taking place here today.
Okay, so today was the culmination. In fact, it was actually the pilot project for the Little Cocoa Experience. So it's the Little Great River Cocoa Experience, where we look at the history of cocoa, look at the fact that we would have on the world market, have won the international awards for our cocoa because of its fine flavor. And what we're trying to do across Tobago is to bring back estates. And this is one of the estates that we have. So we're starting here in terms of of rehabilitation. But we can't just look at production. We also have to look at the different aspects and move in a new direction. So the new direction that we're moving in is agrotourism. So part of this entire event or this experience is that you would get a chance to go on a hike, visit the water, one of the 2 waterfalls in the area. There's also the water wheel in the area, the cocoa fields. We have the government station where they're doing a repository in the area. So there's a lot to do. We have the river line, which is where we're at now, where persons can come and relax. They can cook a meal. They can enjoy themselves with their friends, their families, business people. This is an area where everybody can tap into, learn more about our history, learn more about where we can go and support each other as we move forward as a nation.
I wanted to find out, why do you think this kind of agro-ecotourism, why do you think it's important for an island like Tobago?
Well, for one thing, we have a rich agricultural and cultural heritage, and we have to find a means of preserving that. And one of the ways we do that is to educate persons. If we're not aware of what we have, we will lose it, and it will be too late to be able to pull it back to gain benefit from it. So one of the things that this is so important about is to draw a person's attention to the importance of cocoa to Tobago, and of course the avenues and opportunities for growth and entrepreneurship and development through the products, through doing tours. There's so much accommodation for persons who want to come to Tobago. There's so much that Tobago has to offer. This is just one of those products.
And finally, what do you want persons, visitors, to take away from this experience here?
What I want them to take away is the fact that we have to use our environment in an efficient and eco-friendly way. We have to maintain the integrity of our natural environment, capitalize on that which we have in Tobago in terms of cocoa, in terms of fine flavor, in terms of agricultural products in general, because there's so much potential even for the other commodities. But I want persons to take away the fact that right here at home, we have something to offer.
What do you think about the division hosting this kind of event?
First, I'd like to say how good and how pleasant it is for brethren to dwell together in unity. It was a good thing, and anything that brings the people together makes them stronger, and that's what Tobago needs. And I think it was a good thing, and it's going to help the future to be more united, and we should do more of it.
What do you think about this kind of event being facilitated by the division?
Oh, it's a great opportunity. We welcome it. For instance, with this event, it is hoped that I look forward to the day when they would have a museum. And though we don't have everything here, like all the parts of the water wheel, and though we don't have all the history and that, by the time they come up with the idea of the museum, whenever anybody come to a trip or a tour here, you would have the orientation center as part of the museum where they'll be briefed and they can get further information based on the databases set up and based on the public awareness mechanism.
I think it's a very good event, especially with the school kids. It's important that they know our past history, and that was shared with them today. So it's just very important that they have something like this.
I enjoyed learning about the cocoa and the cocoa.
Honestly, it was a really nice experience. It wasn't like you came to one event. There were a lot of things going on today. I got to taste a lot of food. We went on the river, walked. The waterfall was real pretty. I'm actually going to bring back my friends the next time I come here. The food tastes amazing. It was real nice to see everybody getting involved and seeing all the different sorts of flower. It was a really nice experience for me. I've never been to anything like this before.
It's been great hanging out here at the Little Great River and immersing myself in the cocoa experience. But we have one more event to share with you. That's the grand opening of the Shore Park Food Hub. Let's head on down to that event.
to all the vendors who are here, I want you guys to understand that this establishment here is geared towards you. We at TADCO are definitely going to be working with the agro-processors and the people involved in the art and craft and those types of persons in terms of building their capacity, in terms of building their commitment to building a brand from Tobago.
I had a lot of traffic to my booth so far, and looking forward to later this afternoon when people finish working and pass through. It's a very nice event where we as agro-processors can, showcase our products. Even being here, I met some other agro-processors with lovely products, and Tobago is really doing fine work, and we need more events like this to showcase our products.
So the business is of a natural nature. All right, so these oils will be linked to things like pain relief. All right, so there's a particular oil referred to as meganol. Right, meganol helps with pain, it helps with arthritis, it helps with sinuses as well. There are also conditioners, there are also shampoos, there are also teas. So the customer responses so far has in fact been a great one in terms of the feedback. Right, so in terms of sharing, many of them came to find out what are the uses behind the products, right? And when those information were relayed, the customer responses were of a good one. I think that the event is a well-deserved one. I think also that the event is a good opportunity for young entrepreneurs to be able to come out and be able to get that form of traction, because a lot of persons are behind the scenes and persons are not aware of what they have and who they are. So I ultimately believe that this event is in fact a phenomenal one for that purpose, and I look forward to many other events like this in the future.
I think it's a very good idea, especially how the economy is now somewhat opening back post-COVID. It's a great way for new entrepreneurs, to showcase their talents and the different creative that we have on the island. Because even simply walking around, today I found out that he had so many people doing natural products here, soaps, candles. So I think it's a very good idea for both the local residents as well as foreigners.
An event like this will showcase the local art and the local talent that we have here in Tobago. From just walking around today, we've been seeing a lot of artisans. We've been seeing the artisans that we have here in Tobago, and I can talk primarily for this, in terms of local oils and stuff, so you don't have to depend on pharmaceutical oils, with a lot of chemicals and preservatives and stuff like that. So we have natural oils right here being made in Tobago, not just for Tobagonians, because it can be exported as well. So we're not looking just at the local market, we're also looking at an international market, which Tobago is just a jumping point for all that we have here.
I think it's an excellent idea. I love it very much. And it's fine time you make use of this building. And I guess that it could be a tourist attraction too. And then it gives the people of Tobago or the farmers or the entrepreneurs a place where they can come and display their products. And from here, we never know, we could go into bigger industries.
I think it's a wonderful initiative. I just came to visit, but I ended up having to purchase a lot of stuff because I'm into the natural stuff, and the stuff that I would have seen, the soaps and natural flour. These are things that we could actually invest in, seeing that we have challenges in the country where certain food stuff are expensive, and we could resort to these natural stuff and they are wholesome and healthy. So I'm happy I came here today.
We see this opportunity as much more than making a profit. As a matter of fact, we see this as an everyday expo, given that several products will be showcased daily. Certainly, there is the opportunity for the creation of linkages, thus exposing your business for growth. Another benefit is the opportunity to benchmark your products. There are several similar businesses and diverse offerings in this space. We can certainly learn a thing or two from each other. For example, labeling, packaging, etc.
The exhibition shows the potential of Tobago, what we actually can do. And this is a large exhibition, and it shows that we have the potential to really achieve food security and sovereignty on the island. It shows that if we invest in our farmers, if we invest in developing the lands, the road infrastructure, lights, water, if we treat the issues with predial larceny, if we treat with the matter dealing with seedlings and seeds and having a sperm bank for the small ruminant farmers, if we are able to treat our breeding units separately, fixing the demonstration stations and all of those things, we can actually achieve food security and sovereignty. It is a work in progress. We are behind. I feel as though as an island we are behind, but we are putting in the work and we expect to get the results. This year is a return. We have not had it for 2 years consecutively, and it feels good to be back outside. It feels good to be engaged in this manner, and we are hopeful that coming out of this, partnerships and collaborations can happen, investments can happen. The division has already started making some investments in the farmers in terms of equipment, fixing tractor pool and so on. But there is still more work to be done. And this year's event that's under the global theme, Leave No One Behind, really is about the THA saying to farmers, we know we have more work to do with you, and we will put in that work.
That's it for this episode of Let's Talk Tobago. I had a fun time, and I hope that you enjoyed watching what we shared with you this week. As usual, email us with your comments or queries about the program. Visit our website, like our Office of the Chief Secretary Facebook page, follow us on Instagram and Twitter, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. From our house to yours, I'm Amadara Mills, wishing you a safe and productive week. In case you're an agro lover like me and you can't get enough, we leave you with a montage of the World Food Day exhibition.
juggernaut. It's back and a non-stop. This song believe we and come back, boy. Party sweet on the road. From you reach juggernaut. Come join the Gonian band. Take the Gonian jam. Nothing sweeter than to be Gonian. Now join the Gonian band. In the Gonian gram. Nothing sweeter than to be Gonian. So long we've been waiting, everybody anticipating. Mass in we country, betting finally. Like a curry crab and a dumpling. Look us to be it pumping for the world to see. Betting finally. Woyo, woyo, woyo. It's Cabro, we started the jamming. Tell them we coming. Woyo, woyo, woyo. In October we gonna be jumping. Tell them we pumping. This party island, the vibes it strong like white rum, boy. Party sweet on the road. From your reach you gonna know. It's back and a non-stop. This song believe we and come back, boy. Party sweet on the road. From your reach you gonna know. Come join the Gonian band. Take the Gonian jam. Nothing sweeter than to be Gonian. Now join the Gonian band. In the Gonian gram. Nothing sweeter than to be Gonian. Cause the carnival sweet like Tobago. The condensed milk in the cocoa. The girl them hot like flambo and bad like Rambo. Right now they're whining down low. The carnival sweet like Tobago. It feel like winning the lotto. Oh, oh. Like back row water come let we flow. It's sweeter than honey, honey. It's richer than money. It's a couple miles to the sister Al. You know you should be on a plane. Girl, show off your body. It's warm and it's sunny. Anywhere we go, we just energize. We don't hear nobody complain. Reach, 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 reach. Tell them we reach. Everyday party on the beach. We reach, we reach, we reach, we reach, we reach. Tell them we reach. Tell them we reach. Tell them we reach. Now look how the thing unleash. Cause the carnival sweet like Tobago. The condensed milk in the cocoa. The girl them hot like flambo and bad like Rambo. Right now they're whining down low.
Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning.
Good morning, viewers, and welcome to the Tobago Updates morning show, coming to you here live from the Port Mall in Scarborough. It is paradise. As we continue to give God thanks for life, I am Julian Skeet.
And I am Maria Richardson George, and this is the day that the Lord has made, and we will rejoice and be glad in it. Good morning to Tobago, good morning Trinidad, those of you in the Caribbean, and those of you viewing us on the live. Good morning, Julian Skeet, welcome back.
Thank you so much, Ria. Thank you so much indeed. You know, as I was just making the statements before heading on, it's one thing to return to work after Carnival, and then it's one thing to return when you have challenges with the voice and the vocals, and then you recognize it's going to probably be a challenge hosting that morning show. So thank you so much, Ria, there, for holding out on Monday and Tuesday, because it is no secret for any who would have seen me or connected with me over the course of the season. I'm a lover of soca music, and I made every effort to enjoy the celebrations, and I really want to send out commendations, high commendations indeed, for the very first execution of our Tobago October 2022 Carnival. It wasn't perfect, but certainly there is much to celebrate for us here in Tobago.
And I'm glad that you cleared that up, because I mean the viewers were wondering what was happening. We know it's party and pump, but we were happy to know now, well, unfortunately, that it was a matter of your voice, you know, not having a voice after, I guess, all the screaming and the shouting. And Julian, interesting enough, the cameras didn't pick you up anyway. So I want to believe that you avoided the cameras, because from what we know, you were out at almost every event, but I kept, looking through the footage, is that him? No. I'm looking for the hair. No, that's not him. So you seem to have avoided the cameras, but it's good to know that you're up and well.
That's a good thing indeed. not being captured there. In fact, one of the things you do is you find master control where they are, so you don't even let the camera get on you. You check them where they are. but certainly an enjoyable time indeed for most. I've seen a number of feedback coming across social media in relation to the experience of Tobago Carnival, and I'm particularly pleased with what I see as the feedback and views even beyond Tobago. With persons extending commendations, celebrities, entities, and so on, really commending the efforts of Tobago to make this happen. You know, after so long, so to speak, speaking to the issue of whether or not we should have a Tobago Carnival, bringing it to reality and now making a determination as we go forward. You know, this is an opportunity to grow and to develop, and therefore I look forward. I know we have on the rundown this morning Councillor Tashia Grace Boris, Secretary with responsibility for the Division of Tourism, Culture, Antiquities, and we really look forward to having further discussions this morning as we speak to the issue of the recently concluded Tobago Carnival 2022, and we are ready to speak about 2023.
Well, already the advertisement is out with the date. The save the date is out, so persons have already started booking tickets or putting plans in place for 2023. At the end of the day, there you go. Save the date.
Save the
Tobago
date
Carnival,
indeed.
27th to the 29th October 2023. And then you hear, and you like to get all the voices, you like to get all the comments, and you hear a lot of the persons, because I was at our family business place on Monday, and persons were coming into Tobago and coming into the store, and you can tell that they're not from Tobago, because you know in Tobago we know who's from Tobago and who's not from Tobago.
Yes.
And I would ask the question, you know, are you from here? No. Are you visiting? Yes. Did you come for Carnival? Yes. What did you think of Carnival? And the comments, because it brought persons from far and wide back home, and they not only did they come alone, but they came at a contingent. They come with their partner, their friend, their work buddy, everybody. So it was an interesting time.
Ria, it was also comical for me because I know there were those who were planning, because of concerns with the carnival, to boycott. To my surprise, they were on the road. They were having a time. Some of the same persons. And therefore, it reinforced the point that I always make. Sport and music, these are things that bring us together as a people to enjoy ourselves, to have a good time, and then we can speak to the issues in terms of going forward. So I'm very happy to see that some persons would have gone beyond. And some would say those are signs of maturity. Some would say you just couldn't resist it at all if you're into the carnival season and so. But more importantly, I'm happy to see that Tobago, by and large, would have turned out in support. And in addition, I have a number of friends that came across from Trinidad, and I also have friends that are asking me what the is going on with Carl, because I cannot understand a release that tells us with Carl that there are so many seats, and according to them, I'd really like to hear Carl giving an explanation as to, just give us an idea, how does this result, notwithstanding the fact that people have indicated repeatedly, they've tried every last connection, and you called and you could not get a flight to Tobago, but then I'm seeing a grand release that says, oh, we still had available seats via Carl. So I'm looking forward to hearing from Carl in relation to updates. Just give us an understanding of how those seats are really counted in these circumstances to make a determination. Viewers, at this point, we head on over to news in 90 seconds.
Thank you, Julian and Ria. I am Candice Jackson, and here
Tobago Glass Supplies has been a leading name for over 37 years in the glass and aluminum market in Tobago. We provide an extensive range of high-quality, innovative aluminum and glass products for commercial and residential use. Competitive prices with superior and professional services by committed employees who are guided by rigid quality standards. Tobago Glass Supplies specializes in the manufacture and installation of glass and aluminum products products that are essential to today's homeowners and the business environment. We are engaged in marketing, sales, and installation of a variety of products. These ranges from windows and doors to necessities such as mirrors for homes and vehicles, designed and manufactured in-house or imported.
MI4 Security Services Company is the most advanced security service in Tobago. Ask about our cash and transit service. It's safe, risk-free, reliable, and timely. We provide safe banking delivery for all business types and sizes with highly trained staff, 24/7 monitoring, coordinated emergency response, and a well-maintained fleet of armored vehicles. Contact us at 660-7723 or visit our website at www.mi4securitytt.com to sign up today.
Saturday, November 5th, Shore Park, Tobago. It's Million Laughs Caribbean Comedy Commerce, the mega laugh festival to end the Tobago Carnival season, featuring Tobago's finest in folklore and musical entertainment, together with some of the Caribbean's top comedians, Larry Joseph, Daryl the Saint Mendoza, Dolores, Alan the Entertainer, Handsome Sun, Mako Media, and more. Get your ticket specials available on Island E-Tickets and various outlets nationwide, or visit the Million Laughs handles for more info. It's Comedy Commerce in Tobago, a wee kind of commerce.
Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning. Good morning.
Back to the Tobago Updates Morning Show. I am Candace Jackson, and here is your news in 90 seconds for Thursday, 3rd November 2022. Chief Secretary Fali Augustine announced that the THA is preparing to make unconventional moves to achieve its mandate to the people of Tobago. Augustine spoke during a televised update following an annual meeting of the Executive Council and administrative heads of the THA to prioritize plans for the budgetary allocation. After receiving $1.2 billion less than requested, Augustine said that the THA would be forced to go against the status quo to get creative to finance projects. He explained that they would utilize public-private partnerships more with alternative funding methods. The Chief Secretary warned that it will attract criticism, but he is willing to enter uncharted waters to keep their promises to the people. Among the priorities announced by the Chief Secretary for fiscal 2023 were a food and transport hub for Roxborough, coastal repair works near the Fairfield complex, the start of the construction of the Scarborough Secondary School, new radiology equipment for the hospital, 50 homes for residents affected by the airport relocation, and repairs to the Black Rock and Kendall pools. And now nationally, citizens were shocked and outraged after viewing a social media video where children in the Rose Hill RC Primary School in the East Dry River were forced to lie on the desks to shield themselves from bullets. The incident reportedly occurred on Monday, and the teacher was heard on the video telling students to stay down. In response, the Minister of Education, Dr. Nayan Gaspidoli, said she reached out to the Commissioner of Police about the situation at the school and similar instances at other schools around Trinidad. There are ongoing discussions about possibly relocating some of the schools that are subjected to daily gunfire or moving classes online. Counseling is being arranged for the affected students and teachers and parents. And that was the news in 90 seconds. It is back to you, Julian and Ria.
Thank you there, Candace.
Candace, thank you.
Julian, I'll be very honest with you. When I saw that video, it had me very emotional because that is every parent's worst nightmare. Worst nightmare. Now, we've seen these things happening across the U.S. They've not been that many cases of that happening here in Trinidad and Tobago. It does not say that it cannot happen, and I think it is the responsibility of the school management, of education, the Ministry of Education, to put things in place, put measures in place, and parents need to educate their children. Should this happen, what should you do? I remember having this conversation with my daughter within the last few years while she was attending Scarborough, because I was away from home, but I also saw it happening in the US where I was, and I said, you know, should this happen, where would you go? What would you do? Where would you run to? And we spoke about different places within the school compound that may be considered safe. You stay there until you hear someone identifying themselves as police, you know, teacher, whoever it is. But this is every parent's worst nightmare.
Yeah, it is indeed. And you know, we are just looking on. I'm trying to even posture myself, you know, as a parent receiving that call or hearing about this incident at a school where your child is as well. You know, it's really, really a serious cause for concern. And I ask myself, what is happening in sweet TNT? What is happening in sweet TNT?
Yeah. All right, but let's get into some birthdays and then we share some of what's happening with the rundown this morning.
All right, we get into our birthday celebrations. All right, and we start this morning on the birthday lineup. And we start with Aloma White. Wishing you a happy, happy birthday, Aloma White, coming from the entire Tobago Updates family.
And Everald Jones. Now, I've known Mr. Jones for most of his life, since he was about two years old. Everald, love going out to you this morning. I trust that you have a great one. Happy birthday to you.
Birthday shout-outs to you, Everald Jones, where we also bounced up at an event in the Wine Down over the course of the weekend, Everald. All right? We have on screen with us, Ria, you want to assist me with pronouncing that name?
I want to believe it's Sonia. Sonia Wilson Bernard, but Sonia with an interesting spelling.
Okay.
Yeah,
right.
Sonia Wilson Bernard.
We're sending out birthday shout-outs to you, Sonia Wilson Bernard.
And we've got Kayla John from Betsy's Hope, Tobago. Now, Kayla was one of those young ladies who did my hair somewhere back in the day. Early updates. She's excellent with her hands. Weaves, braids and stuff. Kayla, happy birthday. Love going out to you this morning from the entire Roxborough Open Bible family.
Happy birthday, Kayla. And at this point in between our birthday celebrations, we're sending out anniversary greetings. And Ria, these are very good friends of mine, Gavin and Giselle Vincent. And they're celebrating their 9th anniversary. This was one of the weddings that I hosted. And I had an enjoyable and fabulous time from beginning to end. And I see that joy transcending year after year with them within marriage. So it wasn't just about the wedding on that day, but certainly about an enjoyable marriage. I want to take the opportunity to wish them a happy anniversary and God's continued blessings. All right, and on screen we have a birthday celebration. A lady I met a number of years ago through the Rotary family, Lara Quentrell Thomas. And I want to wish you a happy birthday. Some of us in the Rotary circles know her fondly as our past district governor, Lara Quentrell Thomas, really supportive of youth development and into the recruitment field with her own agency and so on. We want to take this opportunity to wish you a happy birthday, Lara Quentrell Thomas. And we have also on screen, this is a belated birthday greeting because she celebrated yesterday, and I'm almost sure the celebrations continue into today. Sending a birthday shout out to you, Judy Rajman, hardworking, very involved extensively in the credit union movement, and want to wish you a happy birthday, Judy Rajman.
And we've got Vincia Coffee Charles celebrating her birthday. Vincia, love going out to you from all of us here at Tobago Updates. Trust that you have a really great one. All
right, and on our rundown this morning, as I indicated, we get the conversation started with Councillor Tashia Grace Burris, Secretary with responsibility for the Division of Tourism, Culture, Antiquities and Transportation this morning.
Okay, and then we continue on this morning chatting with Cassandra Powder, a conference coordinator, and she's going to tell us about an upcoming conference, Let's Equip Her. All right, and she's also going to talk to us a little bit about her book. And interesting enough, I've started reading the book. The book is here with us this morning. She'll tell us a little bit more about it on the program.
All right, this morning we'll also be hearing from Alan the Entertainer, comedian and event promoter for the upcoming Caribbean Comedy Commerce. So we look forward to that interview as well this morning, viewers.
Yeah.
Ria, beautiful and extensive lineup this morning. Let me not forget the shout out this morning. It is courtesy Checkpoint, and that's Checkpoint located at Upper Main Street in Scarborough, 639-5148. Remember to check Checkpoint. And let me thank all those viewers in particular. One said to me, sending me messages, I need my dose of Julian in the mix on a morning. So I want to thank you all so much for the continued love and support, viewers.
Definitely.
I'm back, I'm here, all is well by the good graces of the Almighty God, and I want to say thank you so much for that continued love and support. We want to thank all of you connecting with us via TV, those listening to us via radio, and also those of you with us online. This is your opportunity to share the live, share the live, share the live.
Lifespan is the affordable critical illness plan you need. Cover expenses up to $1 million. Tattoo Life, guaranteed protection.
The best place to stay in Tobago is at Thorn's Place, with rates starting as low as 200 TT. Call or WhatsApp 745-7306 or 682-8676. We are located uptown Scarborough, 5 minutes away from the port. Remember, at Thorn's Place, our aim is to make your stay safe and affordable. Mamai Home Services. We specialize in cleaning of carpets and rugs, mattresses, living room and dining room sets, vehicle detailing, cleaning and sanitizing of homes and commercial spaces. We also do landscaping and tree cutting, pressure and power washing, floor care, fumigating and air purifying. You can also call us for professional painting services, babysitting and adult sitting. Call us now 333-4430 at Mamai Lakai Home Services. We take cleaning to another level.
Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning.
Good morning, viewers, and welcome back at 7:21 a.m. and welcome to the Tobago Updates morning show, coming to you here live from the Port Mall in Scarborough. In this segment, we have the opportunity to chat with SM Councillor Tashia Grace Boris, Secretary with responsibility for the Division of Tourism, and it's tourism, culture, antiquities and transportation.
Yes.
All right. Morning to you and welcome.
Good morning, Julian, and good morning to your listeners and viewers online in Tobago and wherever they are in the world. It's a beautiful morning, isn't it?
It is indeed, and I want to start the conversation on what I would declare very clearly a high point. How do you feel, if you were to give it a snapshot, one line to define the outcome of Tobago Carnival October 2022 before we get into the details?
I think the word would be euphoric. I'm still on a high from the emotions that, finally seeing everything that we were trying to tell people to believe that we could make happen. We saw it come to life on over the weekend. I'm still reading reviews from our visitors, and the reviews are tremendous in praise for the experience they had, from the Juve to the night mass. Even though rain fell, that seemed to be part of what made it so hugely successful, to the parade of the bands on Sunday, which really was something that the average Tobagonian had never really seen in their lifetime before. So that we really were in a position at that time, I think, to tell people, thank you for believing in us, because I know in the beginning of this process, people were largely kind of maybe skeptical that we were able to pull it off. I mean, the chief has said it on many occasions. It was crazy. you know, to think that we could plan and execute a carnival in about 6 or 7 months, but I think we did it.
And I want you to tell us, you know, just before we go further, tell us about that leap of faith on the part of this administration. This administration came into office in December. This Tobago Carnival has been long talked about for some time, and taking such a decision to go with it, to run it, even amongst the many challenges, the concerns, whether or not it could be successfully delivered. And you know, you compare then to now. Tell us a little bit about the determination to take that kind of risk in a step, at least first year in office.
Well, when you think about the name of the party, the first word is progressive. We want to progress Tobago, and in order to move us from where we are to where we need to be, we have to take leaps of faith. We have to take risk, nothing ventured, nothing gained. And it has to be reasonable risk, that is. Because when you talk about trying to introduce a new product among the slew of products that are there, because a Tobago Carnival is not strange in its makeup, and certainly it's not a new thing. When you look at carnivals all over the world, each of them have made a name for themselves. So one of the biggest challenges I think we had very early was, how do we break through the noise? How do we create a product that stands on its own? How do we create something that people are wowed by and they want to see more of? And I think that in the engine room with the Carnival Committee, who I must really, you know, give some deep thanks and appreciation to, because they started this process in terms of being the ones who had to conceptualize this carnival. They had to look at what are the critical elements that we need in this that would make Tobago stand out. And apart from that, my colleagues in the Executive Council, certainly the Assistant Secretary, Ms. Megan Morrison, she did an exceptional job in terms of pulling some more elements together. And it really was an ecosystem of creatives that created a product now that could now stand on its own. I mean, I even heard one person say, because that particular individual, they play carnival all over the world, and they've said that Tobago ranks in their top 3 carnival experiences, and this is just the first year, and I know it was not perfect. So it means that what we have been able to accomplish is up there with the best of them, and I think that's a great place to start and a great place to grow from.
We have seen again what came forward as very good reviews from aspects of the sectors, particularly the hotel and tourism industry, speaking to the issue of occupancy. I have a confused update from Caribbean Airlines, and I want to get your perspectives. Is there a need for follow-up kinds of discussions? Because, I mean, I know you may not be able to answer the technical side of it, but from the perspective of, I have people messaging me and indicating, but Julian, I'm confused. I have tried daily, I have made calls, I could not access, but I'm now seeing a report that says...
I will tell you that, I mean, certainly we will ask some questions, because we had some concerns that maybe the challenge was not necessarily with the humans who are managing the system, but the challenges could maybe be with the system itself. We will have some discussions with Cal relative to them showing us where those seats that were not filled, where did those seats slip through, so that we can have an idea if it's a utilization issue. So for example, the bulk of persons may want to travel at certain peak times during the course of any day. So you have a high volume of people trying to travel very, very early in the morning, and then a probably high number of people trying to travel, let's say after 5, 6 o'clock in the evening. So what you may have is the seats closer to mid-morning, midday, early afternoon, you know, not moving as full as the other seats during the peak times. So that might be a reason. But certainly before I wouldn't want to venture any reasoning before we have that conversation with Cal, but I must also give kudos to Cal, because they did make the seats available, certainly. And if it is a challenge that has to be fixed from a technical perspective, then I would want us to endeavor to fix it so that we ensure that we don't lose those precious seats again in terms of people being able to book and wanting to come and not having the opportunity because they're not seeing any availability.
I want to speak as well to the decision along the way. I know initially when the conversation started with the hosting of Tobago Carnival, the intent was to stay away altogether from the competitive element. We saw some calls coming within the various sectors, and ultimately we saw the introduction. I think there would have been the competitive element with Calypso and Soca and so on. Tell us a little bit about that change and adjustment.
So in the initial stages of the planning, the idea was not to try to have a total replication of what we see in February. And February has this heavy competitive element because of the fact that persons are trying to compete nationally as well. So you look at the steel bands, they are competing nationally. You look at the Calypsonians, they're trying to make it to the big yard. You have the juniors, you have the mass, and you have all these competitive elements that are a foundation of what happens in February. So we didn't want to duplicate that in October. However, we do recognize that the sector, the Calypso sector, the soca sector, really in Tobago has not been supported as much as the sector has been in Trinidad. And I think that what COVID did actually was there was an absence of us knowing what talent existed in this space, because the last time we would have had competition would have been 2020. So that it was felt that we needed to create this platform for persons to come forward and now showcase their talent and introduce that competitive element so that they feel compelled to want to bring their best foot forward. And I must say, I must give congratulations to all our participants across our competitions, and congratulations to our winners. Diashe Saul from Palatavere, who won the Junior Monarch. We had Nicole Thomas Washington, who won the Senior Calypso Monarch. And we also had Mr. Ruston Simon, Culture B, taking the Tobago Stars of Soca crown. And I must say I was pleasantly surprised at the quality of music that we got, because it tells me that the industry is growing. It means that people have access to production facilities. They have access to producers. They have access to persons who can now write quality music for them, and the quality of even the stage performances. So I give hats off to all of the persons who came out and participated. And I think that what we saw on stage augurs well for the industry in Tobago.
All right. As we speak to stage, we have to go to the nicely acclaimed Stage in the Sea.
Yes.
That many would have spoken to. What was your feelings in relation to the actual utilization for the Saturday, Sunday activities that took place in Scarborough? That's one. Right. And two, in going forward, can we see discussions between tourism and settlement and infrastructure with a consideration of the relocation of that I Love Tobago sign for better picture taking?
Well, to be honest with you, that was actually the plan. When the stage was completed and we saw how it finally looked, the chief was like, let's put the sign there. I said, yeah, I think that's maybe a good idea, But the sign has, some technical challenges with it, that we could not move it in time. It's connected to some underground cables and stuff that allows it to be lighted and that kind of thing. But I think eventually that would be one of the considerations, certainly. The stage became a high point of the parade on Sunday. In fact, a lot of the masqueraders who are used to crossing the stage in Trinidad remarked that this stage was certainly a far better experience for them, because they didn't feel like if they have to be rushed off the stage, it was a perfect place for them to take their pictures, because everything is social media now. So that entire backdrop became a perfect opportunity for people to say, we are in carnival capital in Tobago right now, and see us, we're enjoying ourselves, we're having a great time. And I saw even some comments of persons who were disappointed that they missed this year and have promised they're not going to miss next year. So I think what happened with this stage is that it really became a high point of our parade, and certainly in terms of future use, because it is there, we're going to ensure that there's going to be much more activity on that waterfront. It's there for promoters to use if they want to have events. You could put an entire steel band on that stage and they can be showcasing their talent and craft to persons. I mean, I think the possibilities are endless, and it's for us as Tobagonians to now dream. At this point, I would say that aside from even seeing the positive comments coming out of the carnival, I think people have to really understand that this administration is about creating opportunities. Yeah, so it's not just enough to simply sit down and complain about what you don't see or complain about what you don't like. Those things are fine, but then what is the solution? What are you bringing to the table, or what are you doing to change the situation? And we want people to start to think along those lines, because we don't have all the ideas. And certainly the carnival conversation and what we eventually saw over the weekend evolved because other people were being roped into the conversation. And the thing is that I have no issue taking criticism, but come with a solution as well, so that we could all sit and now find that compromise, because the ultimate goal here has to be progress.
How do you respond to some of the challenges particularly raised by political leader of the PDP, Watson Duke, in relation to the beneficiaries that came out of this 17.5 million spent for the Tobago Carnival was not essentially the people of Tobago?
Well, it's kind of unfortunate that he's in a position where he's on the outside looking in, because if he was on the inside looking out, he would have more updated information. The reality is that the true beneficiaries of the Tobago Carnival are the people of Tobago themselves. I can tell you without a shadow of a doubt, we had two entities executing spend for us for the carnival. We had the Tobago Festivals Commission Limited, we had the Tobago Tourism Agency Limited. So TFCL was responsible for logistics and infrastructure and all of those items. TTAL was responsible for marketing. And I could tell you without fear of contradiction that over 90% of the money that we spent with Tobago suppliers, Tobago businesses, Tobago entrepreneurs. Yes? In addition to that, what we recognized is what this carnival did was really overwhelm the capabilities of our suppliers to supply in this space, because it was not just THA events, which were few. We only had the competitions, and then we had the activities of last weekend, and then Pantrinbago had their 2 pan events, one weekend and this weekend. But the reality is that there were so many other private events going on in this space, and most of those promoters used Tobago suppliers. They didn't bring up tents on the boat. They didn't bring up sound systems and stuff on the boat. They used who was here on the ground, and what it created was a situation where our business people really just could not supply. And this is a good problem to have, because it means that now we have recognized that there is space for this industry to grow, and people now have to get themselves in a frame of mind. How do I now get into this? Is either you're playing mass, or you're making money, or you're home watching people play mass and make money. You understand what I'm saying? So Tobagonians have to decide what side of the fence they're going to be on. This THA is always going to pick Tobago suppliers first, even if it meant that we had to pay more. And that was the reality, because we understand that the economies of scale that we have are much smaller than Trinidad. It meant that we would have paid more for goods and services than if we had outsourced these things to suppliers. And that is one of the reasons why the budget for Tobago is the way it was. Now, what I would do is come back after we have tabulated all of our liabilities and lay out for the people of Tobago what actual spend was. But the reality is that a thing that somebody can get in Trinidad for $1, that same thing is going to cost $4 in Tobago. But this THA would rather spend the money in Tobago and ensure that the economy of Tobago is built, rather than send that money down the road. And that is what we did for this carnival. Yeah.
And one of the areas I want to follow up on as well, and I'm happy for that commitment, because that was one of my follow-up questions in relation to, by the time the completed report, the expectation is that that report will be completed by the end of the month?
Yes. So the committee, this is their last working month. So part of their job is to ensure that they have a very robust post-mortem taking place, and conversation with all the persons who have had an input in the staging of the carnival, and certainly an input of the persons who were standing on the sidelines waiting to see what happened this year, because their views are also important. You're standing in the midst of a situation and you could only see what's around you, but the man who's standing outside of the situation may pick up things that you may not necessarily see. So the committee has to wrap up their work, and that report would be presented to the Executive Council, and we would make that the details of that report certainly available to the public.
All right. And one of the things I want to look at as well, there were some concerns with what would have been the change of route for Scarborough, in terms of making a turn-off prior to heading down what was the intended full Lambo stretch. More specifically, there are a number of vendors crying out about in terms of the impact. Is there any plans or intentions by the Tobago House of Assembly to engage or provide any kind of support?
Well, we've actually reached out to the vendors that we registered, because we would be responsible for those that we registered as part of our vendor registration program. So those persons were reached out to, they were communicated with by the committee, and we're working out some sort of compensation for them. Certainly, I do have to apologize for the cutting short of the route, because obviously it's not something that we planned for. It's a situation that really kind of came upon us because we did have a late start, which was beyond our control. But despite the fact that we started late, we did have a commitment to end when we did, because that is more than just having the parade. When you're dealing with members of the national security apparatus, they organize their operations according to like this 12-hour cycle. So they were out since about 8 o'clock in the morning morning. So they had to wrap up by 8. Their officers worked for the last 10 days tirelessly, sun and plenty rain. So, I mean, yes, ideally we want people to get the full experience of the carnival, but we have to consider that there are other elements in that that we have to look at. And one of the things that we really could not budge on was that national security operation in terms of getting people off the streets between 6 and 8 o'clock and allowing us to do the cleanup operations, which I must commend the Division of Health, Wellness and Social Protection and the Division of Infrastructure, Quarries and Urban Development, my colleagues Dr. Faith B. Israel and Assistant Secretary Joel Sampson. They really rallied their workers to come out and do the extensive cleanup that was necessary after the events, so that, you know, if we would have had a worse situation if the parade was in the middle of Lambo at 6 o'clock and we had to cut off the music, and then we had a lot of these masqueraders having to walk back in the dark with no music. That would have overshadowed everything that we had tried to do. So a decision was taken to cut the parade short to ensure that we could end on the waterfront as originally planned, and that people would experience the climax that we had planned, which was the fireworks, which was a surprise. Most people did not know that we had that in the bag. But all in all, again, in terms of improving next year, this is something that we would certainly fix. You have no worries about that.
So we know with certainty, and I'm happy that you would have provided that clarity for those looking and listening on. We know with certainty that there's a target for October of 2023. The question in the minds of many, what therefore happens for our national carnival in 2023?
February. So, I mean, it's only, today is the 4th of November?
Yes.
So I've already received proposals from Tobago region and the Mass Bands Association for what they would want to see in February. But the reality is that we want to grow this standalone product called the Tobago October Carnival. And we can't do the same thing that we're doing in October and February. Certainly, that's one. And two, the resources that we had available in October to be able to have the spectacle that we did, we won't have them available in February. Certainly we won't have all the police that we got because they will be too busy with celebrations in Trinidad. Certainly we will not have the attention of the audiences, whether it be local, regional, international, because all the focus would be on Trinidad, because they've already declared that 2023 is their mother of all carnivals. So we're going to have some conversations, and I want people to understand that the conversations are geared towards innovation and evolution. We have to evolve what we do in February, because there are some people who are of the view that we should have no carnival in February. There are some people who have the view that we should do the same things we've been doing in February. And there are some people who have the view that we need to do something different in February that differentiates us, but allows us to still have the celebration. And I would tell you this much, the focus in February really has to be about us passing the baton, ensuring that our young people coming up are trained in the different elements of the carnival, to ensure that our traditional mass has the spotlight, to ensure that the competitive elements of the carnival, because certainly we've already agreed to host the medium band finals in February, and that was a huge hit back in 2020, and the president of Tobago has made a commitment that at least one of the finals is going to come to Tobago. So we have the medium band finals, so that there's going to be those competitive elements for PAN, certainly. But I want people to understand that whatever we do in February, I think has to be in synergy with what is happening in Trinidad, not competing with it. And there are other areas that we could also focus on that ensures that Tobago gets 2 bites of the cherry. Because around February, we have a huge influx of people who are not coming for Carnival. They're coming to escape Trinidad for Carnival.
Correct.
So I think that is something that we also have to pay from a tourism standpoint. We have to pay some very serious and focused attention to. How do we cater to those persons? How do we build out our campsites? How do we encourage our church groups to have their camporees and their jamborees? How do we utilize Shore Park? Because now Shore Park seems to be the capital of everything, you know? How do we build out our other accommodation facilities to ensure that people who want a different experience in February and who are looking at Tobago to provide that experience are now getting that experience in Tobago? And yet still we do have the elements of people celebrating the national festival, because we can't get away from that. As soon as when they reach, people want to cool down in Tobago, and that is perennial. That is something that we've lived with for a number of years. So, I mean, I don't want to preempt any discussions that are going to be had, but I just want people to know that whatever we do in February must be in synergy with what is happening in Trinidad. Trinidad not competing with or trying to compete with the same audience that they're trying to have. And certainly our contribution to the national festival, again, must declare our Tobago pride, our Tobago-ness, Tobagonian, yeah?
Yes.
So we have to bring that to the stage at all times, and that's the most important thing. Regardless of what we do in February, Tobago always have to show up to the dance with the best of the lot, yes? But I'm really proud of my Tobago people, I must say. Those of them who believed in us from the start. Even the detractors, I'm proud of you, because you know why? It means that you can keep us in check. You have seen what went wrong. You have your ideas in your mind as to how it could be better, so let's all hold hands and make it better next year. Yes, but I know that our visitors had an excellent time. We had a crime-free carnival, which I'm proud of. You know, we didn't have any major incidents of any injuries or anything like that. So it shows that the people of Tobago can put on the best street party that most people have ever experienced in their entire life, and they could do it safely and you know, beautifully, and I'm happy for that.
All right, and we're just about out of time, so we're going to have to have some follow-up discussions by the time we speak report and the actual cost of the Tobago Carnival for 2022.
Yes.
Just as an indication to persons, some of whom have views and comments, is there some kind of avenue by which they can also provide feedback, whether it is to the committee or so, in relation to their feedback for Carnival 2022?
So what I've asked the committee to do is to develop a survey instrument and put it out on their social media channels so that persons can now indicate whatever feedback they want to indicate. So it could be from this perspective of someone who played mass, someone who was a spectator, someone who was a service provider, or someone who simply sat on the outside and, you know, has some ideas as to how we can make the thing better. We want to hear from you, because the reality is that the only way we can make this better is ensuring that we have as much ideas as possible in the pool, and we have as much people contributing to the build out of a bigger, better Tobago Carnival 2023.
Wow, I am hearing you speaking there, and all that's playing in my mind is, wow, how the thing's so nice. The carnival sweet
like Tobago.
All right,
that's
this is
line.
Indeed a paradise, and we want to say thank you very much to Councillor Tashia Boris for joining us here on set. Secretary with responsibility for the Division of Tourism, Culture, Antiquities and Transportation. As we speak, the follow-up to Tobago Carnival 2022, and yes, give or take within a few weeks, within a month or so, just after the ending of this month, we also look forward to hearing the follow-up that will come when we speak to the Spend for Tobago Carnival, and perhaps, who knows, updates on a possible appointment of another committee going forward, looking towards the plans for February 2022. Yes, folks, the Carnival Suite here, it feels great. Tobagonian. All right, enough for that. Viewers, thank you so much. Those of you joining us via TV, those connecting with us via radio, and also those of you joining us online. This is your opportunity to share the live, share the live, share the live.
Tobago, this is Larry Joseph. Saturday, 5th November, the only place to be is Million Laughs Caribbean Comedy Commerce. Shore Park, Tobago. The only comedy for the entire family. Tobago, Commerce and Larry, a wee kind of commerce.
Coconut's Cafe, the buffet restaurant that specializes in all your tasty local dishes. For breakfast and for lunch. Breakfast includes coconut bake and sada roti, served with chokers, bull joil and sausages in tomato sauce. Not forgetting beef and cheese pies, shepherd's pie, macaroni pie and rice in various styles. Meats served in a variety of flavors, garden salads and pasta salads. All this accompanied by fruit juices, coconut water, your choice of a great combination to appease your taste buds. So call us today to order, as we are here to accommodate your busy schedules, or if you are having a cooking day off.
You can now get whatever you need whenever you need it anywhere in Tobago with Tobago. Your meals, medication, groceries and shopping all delivered directly to you. No more hassle, no more stress. Get the Tobago app today on Google Play or Apple App Store.
That's TAPPOGO, and let us deliver to you.
Check our website at www.tapogo.app or call the experts at 494-TOGO and 484-4746. Tobago. Relax, we will get it to you. Tobago's at your service.
Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning.
This morning to the Tobago Updates morning show. This morning we are chatting with the lovely Cassandra Powder, who is on set with us as the conference coordinator of Let's Equip Her, the conference. Good morning and welcome to you this morning, Cassandra.
Good morning, Ria.
It's good to have you on the program with us.
It's good to be here.
You sound very quiet, which is so much out of character for you if anyone knows you at all.
True.
All right, let's get right into things. Now, you are also here, Cassandra. Let me just let our viewers know we're going to chat a little bit about her book. Now, that's not the primary reason that she's on the program, but certainly we're going to chat about her book as well. So we want to talk this morning about Let's Equip Her. Cassandra, I know you to be a woman who does not do anything vai-ki-vai. You do not just jump on a woman a fancy to do something. What prompted this conference, Let's Equip Her?
Well, I came from situations that led towards domestic violence. And through that, while going through that, one of the reasons why I could not leave and I had to stay and endure that is because my relative, I choose to say, did not allow me to work. I was not allowed to be self-sufficient or an independent woman. And because of that, I stayed for several years and I endured that. And years later, one of the things, as you evolve, as you learn, one of the things you realize based on experiences is that when you go through something, it's not just for you. It is meant to liberate other women, other men, whosoever. And based on that philosophy, we realize that there's a lot of women, by talking, conversing with other groups, we realize that there's a lot of women that are in the same position that I was in. And they cannot leave because of the fact that they are bound by the fact that their relative is the sole breadwinner. And they continue to go through situations one way or the other and stay. Some of them, unfortunately, as we listen to the news, they die in that particular situation. And because of that, it was birthed in my spirit some years ago, actually. Right, it was birthed in my spirit. The name for the conference actually came from my daughter. Right? And that's the reason for this conference at this time. It is absolutely important for Tobago to embrace this philosophy. It's time for women to get up and engage. Not that the men, there are men that are very, very responsible as husbands, as providers, as nurturers, as protectors. They understand their role. But for those who do not understand their role and continue to see women in a subservient position as their children, as their slaves, those are the women that we really want to target. It's time. We want to be able to take you through courses in this conference to equip you to deal with situations and get up, get the strength to get up and come out of that situation.
Let me ask you, if you knew then, when you were going through your situation, if you knew then what you know now or what you want the Tobago women to experience through this conference, how would it have made a difference in your life?
I believe it would have made a big difference because when I look back at my life, I believe at the end of the day, you have to look at life through the lens that God has the time clock in his hand, really and truly, and he is able to restore. He is able to bring you back and intensify everything based on what you should have accomplished at a particular time. God is able to come back and deal with that. But if I knew what I knew now, back then, Cassandra would have been very different, and in my estimation, I would have been much, much further in life. Yeah.
All right, let's talk about this conference because I'm pretty excited about it myself. Let's talk about the conference speakers, and what are some of the areas that you plan on covering to be able to equip her?
All right, the conference is based on 3 pillars: emotional, spiritual, and financial. And it's a lot to take in one day, but God is good. Why emotional? We realize that the reality, if Rhea started reading the book, and Rhea would say, in the first part of the book, the low self-esteem, it came in at around 7, 8 years old. So the reality of the matter is that whether we're male or female, because I tell people, yes, it's a women's conference, but men are affected the same way, basically. Human beings are human beings.
Right.
And why emotional? Because of the fact that a lot of people go through trauma. Different levels, different types of trauma. And what we don't understand, it messes with your mind, right? It alters your mind. You come into the world with a clean slate, and then you have all these different distractions from the society, from your parents, from school, from church, and they beat you down at times, unfortunately, and make you feel that you're not worthy. Unfortunately, because of things that has happened in your life, sometimes you choose the wrong partner, and they further take you along a pathway where they erode even much more. So emotionally, we want to be able to show the woman, basically we're dealing with traumas, as I said. And dealing with trauma, we want the woman to be able to search their lives in that moment and understand, okay, what were the instances at this particular time of my life that is keeping me from launching forth. The reality of the matter is, we have Rhea, brilliant women, beautiful, talented women, that they just can't get up and embrace all that they can be. And when we search our lives, we realize that factored into our DNA or our experiences along life journey, we realize we were wounded by a man, we were wounded by maybe sometime a relative, an experience, if whatever it might be. So we want to be able to show the woman, okay, let's identify the trauma, right? Let's be able to identify it. We're able to view it through the lens that, okay, then this is what has happened, and then we want to be able to show you moving on from here, whether it be in one day or continuous sessions. How do you deal with this trauma and get past all of that and embrace all that God has for you to do? The second pillar we're dealing with is spiritual. A lot of people are plagued by what we call ancestral curses. If we were to go into the Bible, we would see that it affected people along life's journey in the Old Testament, where you have situations in real life where you have a young woman that you hear the village talking about, and the village would say, she can't help how she is, because her mother did it, her grandmother did it, her great so 4 generations going back.
And you never peg it to this being what you call an ancestral curse.
Ancestral curse. Because if you look at both sides of the pendulum, we have ancestral curses and we have ancestral blessings.
Go ahead.
Right? Now with ancestral blessings, you will hear people say, oh, he's going to be a lawyer.
Because his daddy was a lawyer.
4, 5, 6, 8 generations of doctors, of lawyers, of teachers. Right? So both sides of the pendulum, you have situations that you're dealing with. People say, he can't help but be a drug pusher because his father was a drug pusher. And on the other side, oh, she's going to be a lawyer because she comes from a family of lawyers.
And there's some who believe, Cassandra, that if I don't believe it, then it does not exist.
Trust me, Tobago, it exists. It's real, and in a real deep way. It exists. And this could be one of the factors why you hear people, you have families that they never own a house. And when you check 4 generations go back, they rented.
They rented for generations.
Generations they rented. Some people, they're just not able to keep a job, right? And when you check it out, right, they're just not able, they're brilliant, but they just can't reach to the stage where they go to university for further learning. You understand? So it comes in you know, dressed in myriads different costumes. You understand, this ancestral curse? And when we're able to identify it from a spiritual standpoint of view, we're able to deal with it and take away that which prevented us and get our freedom. And thirdly, the third pillar is financial freedom. Even as we go into this a bit, because I know we don't have much time.
Just to give them a taste so they know to come on out.
Right. With this financial freedom, as we call it, we have BDU coming in and do a session with us, how to structure business plans. We have the manager of Unit Trust is going to come in and work with us and teach us what is financial management, especially at this particular time. We have a young lady that's going to come and teach us the power of internet advertising, because you mightn't be able to come on Tobago updates or Channel 5, but you can utilize the internet, right? We then have a panel of 4 different scales of businesses, Pinnacle, Cleaning Company, Vocal, and also a woman who owns a mall. Everybody in the room can fit into one of those categories. So our aim and objective is to show that anything that we're offering you, it is attainable, right? And last, we have a powerful woman of God, because at the end of the day, we have to give glory to Jesus Christ, who is our door.
Amen.
That's going to come and really minister and tie, I'd call them, put the trimmings on the cake, the icing and everything on the cake. So it promises to be a really, really interesting conference. The opening of the conference is on Friday. We start at 6:30 at Shore Park. That is free.
And this is at the cultural complex?
The Shore Park Cultural Complex.
Right.
Right, and on Saturday from 9 to 5.
At the complex?
Also at the complex.
Okay.
So we're encouraging Tobago to come out. We have seating only for 200 people. First come, first serve. But try to be there early. And I'm just plugging in as we leave that Trinidad has already given authorization for us to come in the month of February to do the same conference. So Tobago, it's only $100. Come out and be educated. Allow elevation in the mind to take place, which brings about freedom.
All right. How can persons contact you? Because I understand that space may be limited at this point. So for those persons who are looking on, this would be what the final day of registration. Because
no,
the
let them
registration
just come.
Yeah,
let them
show up.
come. Yeah.
All right. And what number can they call for more information?
786-6448.
Okay. All right. So thank you so much, Cassandra Powder. And I want to put in here very quickly here. This is her book. She's going to come back at another time to talk about the book. I got it straight up. I Survived. Now, you mentioned a little while ago, as you started, that you've also been through domestic violence, and you talk about snippets of it as well in the book and how you survived. And I want to say, viewers, when I picked up the book, and just a couple nights ago, that was really hard to put down. And if you know me, I'm never up at 7 and 8 o'clock in the night. I am sometimes fast asleep. But I was up after 10 that night reading this book. And I have to say here, it is a must read. I said, pray before you read it. Pray before you read it. And ask God to open your eyes, to things that you might have missed and not seen in your own life, all right? But certainly she will be back on the program with us at another time to talk with us on I Survived. All right, so thank you again for being with us this morning. There was lots more coming up this morning on the Tobago Updates morning show. And maybe you get to see Julia with a mic with our next guest, maybe on the stage sharing a joke or two. All right, so stay tuned and share the live, share the live, share the live.
It's a different type of thing down there. And we party till we drop down there. With a lot of pretty girls down there. Down in Tobago.
can now get whatever you need whenever you need it anywhere in Tobago with Tobago. Your meals, medication, groceries, and shopping all delivered directly to you. No more hassle, no more stress. Get the Tobago app today on Google Play or Apple App Store.
That's TAPPOGO, and let us deliver to you.
Check our website at www.tapogo.app or call the experts at 494-TOGO and 484-4746. Tobago. Relax. We will get it to you. Tobago's at your service.
Hello?
Master Fee.
Master Fee here.
How you going? It's Alan the Entertainer.
Who?
It's Alan the Entertainer.
Who?
Alan of Million Laughs.
So Alan, you want to get a strainer?
No, ma. I'm calling to tell you about the comedy commerce. Yeah, the comedy commerce show in Tobago.
I know that. I told you
November
I want to come. In Trinidad. How are you going to get that? That is quite in Tobago.
Getting what?
The strainer, Alan.
Back to Tobago November the 5th. So don't worry to come now,
it's not a problem, you know. I will
You hear
come
me?
for you.
Don't come now. Ma.
Taxi.
Master
You going shopper, Tobago?
Saturday, November 5th, Shore Park, Tobago. It's Million Laughs Caribbean Comedy Commerce, the mega laugh festival to end the Tobago Carnival season, featuring Tobago's finest in folklore and musical entertainment, together with some of the Caribbean's top comedians, Larry Joseph, Daryl the Saint Mendoza, Dolores, Alan the Entertainer, Handsome Sunshine, Mako Media, and more. Get your ticket specials available on Island E-Tickets and various outlets nationwide, or visit the Million Laughs handles for more info. It's Comedy Commerce in Tobago, a wee kind of commerce.
Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning.
Good morning, viewers, and welcome back to the Tobago Updates morning show, coming to you here live from the Port Mall in Scarborough. In this segment, yes, viewers, we're talking about the Caribbean Comedy Commerce. All right, this morning, morning, gentlemen.
Morning, Tobago, Tobago.
Let me start off by asking these gentlemen, those of you joining us, those on set, to introduce yourselves for Tobago, Trinidad, and the viewers at large in the region.
Well, I will do it first, you know, because everybody know me. Maybe not with the hat, but, you know, Eric Powder is the name. And, you know, comedy is part of my business. Everything I do, even though I'm serious on the job, I make people laugh, you know. And I've been on many stages before in different capacities as MC, comedian, dialect poet, you know, you name it, acting in plays. So, Alan is in Tobago, bringing some of the best from the Caribbean, and he wanted the best from Tobago. So he said, you had to be on my show. So here am I.
All right, so we have Eric Powder.
Good morning to Trinidad and Tobago, especially good morning to Tobago. My name is Alan the Entertainer. Alan Augustine, actually.
Family?
Well, it's my namesake, so we think this year I can hook up and see where the connection is, really, you know. But I am actually the owner and the, let's say the business owner, let's say entrepreneur, father, friend, you know, television host, radio host as well. We started this company called Million Laughs Production. And so now we're here to bring some Million Laughs to Tobago as well. Some Million Laughs fun at Tobago.
Excellent. So as we head on into the interview, let's get straight into it. We have the upcoming festival taking place on Saturday. If you could give us some details into that, where it's going to be happening, the time, etc.
Well, you're talking about the Million Laughs Caribbean Comedy Commerce. And it's one of our very first major or mega comedy festival, as you rightfully put it. We're hoping, and it's a good launch because, you know, after every carnival season, you'll usually have a comedy show. That's a cool down kind of scenario to the carnival season. We are so fortunate and blessed to get in with Shore Park, members of the THA, and members of the business community of Tobago as well, to do this show at Shore Park, Tobago, this coming Saturday at 7 p.m. Come there early, but not Tobagonians, you know, we usually come in a little bit early. By my experience, I've been here. I did a couple of shows at Tobago, and you know, by and large, yeah, Tobagonians across the Caribbean. I must say too, the hats off to Tobago boy for incident-free carnival. I was in Grenada for the carnival and walked through the streets of Grenada, and I'm like, there was no incidents in Grenada. And then to hear the same thing played off in Tobago, and I'm like, you know, guys, we had to go to Tobago and give them some good laughs, make sure that they have good energy, and make sure that they never forget Minala's Caribbean Comedy Commerce this Saturday.
All right. So on a serious note, Eric Powder, tell us about your involvement in the comedy commerce coming up on Saturday.
Well, my involvement, I would be there doing my thing. You know, I have some breaking news there. I'll be a newscaster. You know, I'll be a newscaster, the breaking news, and I'll be telling people about being stupid. You know, the difference between being stupid and being stupid. And so you have to know that you have to know when not to be stupid, right? You must know when not to be stupid. And in this studio, we have all the employees here. They have some bit of stupidity in them. You know, like Rhea. Rhea all the time is Rhea Richardson, Elton Richardson's daughter. As soon as she get married, like she don't like the Richardson again. She eat, call her George. She sleep, call her George. She done the program today, call her George. You, Julian, you always here flancing yourself with outfit from Checkpoint and Ray Shards, and you just skeeting across the floor, skeeting up and down the plate. Look, Candice. Candice, she like a tomboy, always in the sea. Always on boat, on jet ski, and climbing mountain, coming down in parachute and all kind of thing. Candice, a foreign tourist meet me a day, and he said, "Can this be Jackson?" I said, "No, that is somebody's daughter. That is not Jackson." And you know, I mean, boy, you know,
this fella trying to get me in trouble.
Look, Parks, Anton. His name is Parks. He even know to park. Yesterday, the man come up in the car park, he come in the people basement car park. I park up there, I stand up, I sit down in my car waiting on my wife to come from the bank. I see Anton driving. He swing around, so he drive out back. 5 minutes again, he come in again, he do the same thing. He go on. When I see community, I say, "Anton, what me looking for somebody?" Or he said, "No, but I can't get no park." I said, "But look, you have about 5 parks there, you have 6 over there." He said, "Yeah, but he mark up on the wall, reserve parking only." I said, "Boy, that is reverse parking only." So he don't even understand what he's doing. But the most sensible fellow all you have here, you see that Nana boy there? Yeah, William Nana. That boy is great. He makes sure he etched his name in Candice's theme song. Good morning, Tobago. Good morning, Tobago. Na 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 na. You know?
Well, viewers and listeners, yes, we have not gone to the show just yet. We're still on set for the interview happening live. Alan the Entertainer. Clearly, we see Eric Powder's role in the mix and in the lineup and ready for Saturday. Tell us about some of the others that we can look forward to coming forward in the comedy commerce.
Well, again, I want to say, you know, it's been a tough road for us building up to this. I mean, these spaces are not necessarily strange to us, but in terms of the cast, you can expect somebody like Larry Joseph, who is raring and ready to go. I'm going to get Larry to do at least 2 sets this time, not just 1, but 2 sets on the comedy show. And we have this fella right here on screen. I'll point you the next direction. This fella right here. Yeah, I'll make sure I get it right. Nice. That guy right there is who you was actually seen on the ad called Marsefi. That is Marsefi there, but Mr. Sefi as Marsefi. Hopefully he will trim that beard before he get here to Tobago. But he's in Trinidad and getting ready to come. He'll be here on Friday afternoon. Sefi is his character. Good afternoon, good morning, good day to Christopher Bernard Burton, otherwise known as Sefi. He's hearing us.
Yes, so he should be hearing us as well. Morning to you, joining us there from across in Trinidad. Yes. All right,
good morning, Tobago.
So I want you to tell us about your involvement in the upcoming show on Saturday.
Okay, well, it's a pleasure being here. Thank you for having me. Well, my involvement on the show, Alan gave me a call. He said, well, Sebi, come across and do this special piece in the show, where it is, I'll be more or less as a, best way to put it is a anti-master ceremonies. Right? So like, I would just be, how to say, mixing up the thing as the business go along as this.
You see, we don't want to give away. It's not much to give away from the show because the show is scripted. It's not going to be the run-of-the-mill people that come on stage and do what they want, really. We probably design the show in a way that, folks can get entertainment from in the crowd, on the stage, and Sefi is one of the persons, one of the components that is going to be lighting up the audience ever so often. We're hoping to have, folks come out and be entertained all around. So it's not going to be just people that come and do stuff on stage, we get the run-of-the-mill stuff. But because it's Tobago's first, carnival, and we want to get them a very good first comedy show. We want to design the show a certain way that, it kind of says uniqueness to Tobago. It stays unique to Tobago. You understand? And that is what the scripted show is going to be about. It's going to have Larry Joseph, Christopher B., which is Sefi. We have Darrell St. Mendoza, people know him as Nixon on I-95. We have, of course, Eric Powder. We have a fellow called Handsome Sonson. And trust me, he's an ex-rioter as well. Handsome Sonson is going to, Larry's going to be on with Dolores. We have music and much, much, much more. This is what the design of the show will actually...
Right, so tell us, for the benefit of our viewers and listeners, where can persons have access to tickets, what's the cost and so on, for persons to ensure that they're part of the show on Saturday?
Well, you can have tickets. Tickets are bought here at the mall. We have Showaholics downstairs here at the Port Mall. We also have tickets available at MB's Pharmacy. We have tickets available at Cafe Alfresco in Lambo.
Pablo's in the east.
Pablo's in the east. We also have tickets available at, I'm missing one. Oh, Barcode. I don't know as well it's called Barcode dress code. Barcode right here. Of course, and we are in the country, so you just give me a buzz, give me a call. You want to get your tickets, hook it up. As a matter of fact, you do have a calling segment here, right?
You're thinking about giving away one?
Let's give away a few, but I will leave forward with you guys here. So
all right,
and you have nice packages too, eh?
Yeah.
Like for family of 4, group rates if you have 10 or more.
So tell us a little bit about those packages.
It's 200, but if it's 10 or more, it's 150.
Tickets are the tickets are really 200. The individual, the single tickets is 200. You can get 2-for-1 special tickets. You go to the mall after 2-for-1 special for 350. We also have family, because I know Tobago love to bring out the family as well. So we have family tickets. The family tickets are actually $550. It admits 4 persons. So you go and you ask for a family ticket. You want to get a better deal to bring out a family, you do have to pay $200 per person. $550 for a ticket that admits 4 persons, and it's written there, admit 4. So you just ask for the family ticket. Ask for the 2-for-1 special. Individual tickets are $200, and so we have these special VIP tickets are $500 for those who want a little VIP treatment. No problem. We have space for that as well. And these tickets are available at all our outlets that we just named.
All right, so we're looking forward to high energy coming out here on Saturday at the Comedy Commerce. Eric Powder, what do you want to say to our viewers before we wrap this morning's interview?
Well, Tobago's first carnival just passed and everybody had a good time. It's time to come down, relax in a very cool atmosphere at Shore Park and just throw, people say let your hair down. Well, me, I have no hair to let down. But just relax, cock back, kick up, and laugh, roll on the floor. You have enough, space to roll. I tell you, it's going to be great. The names that you hear there, and Alan the Entertainer. Many people may not be familiar with him in Tobago, but you see this man, you see those stand-up comedy that you get in America and these kind of things. This man could just go for hours. This man could just entertain you he's great, and it's going to be a great experience, fellas like the Saint and Larry and, and with me there playing the fool, I tell you, you're going to enjoy yourself. Come on down, okay? And you in Tobago, we have a way of making people big. You see what we did to Burna Boy? Right now they're going and sue the man for not performing in Dominica. Because we treat him so good here, he's now Burna Man. He's too big for them, so he didn't go there. Yeah, so.
Alan the Entertainer, in closing this morning, give us your comments.
I want to say a special thanks to Tobago Updates for supporting us, coming on board and being a partner to our venture. To all our other sponsors like JMZ, Gael, JMZ Imports, down there in Trinidad, and of course the Tobago House of Assembly. I want to say a big ups to Terrence Baines, Assemblyman Terrence Baines, and of course the Chief Secretary's office. I want to say thanks again for your support. Every ounce of support is really appreciated by all, and we're really hoping that everybody can come out on Saturday at 7 p.m. and come and have a good time. We really want to make Tobago laugh a little bit more, and hoping that when we finish with the show, Million Laughs is the only people or the only company you would want for a comedy show in Tobago. Guaranteed.
Thank you so much, gentlemen. Folks, it's Alan the Entertainer, and therefore we're looking forward to the Million Laughs Caribbean Comedy Commerce that takes place on Saturday at Shore Park, and that's from 7 p.m.
7 p.m.
From 7 p.m. on Saturday, and we're encouraging persons to go out. This is your opportunity to get some laughs, and in true style, from the time he entered the studios, if Eric Powder didn't get you to start laughing, something is wrong. Yep. Quite naturally within our space, and therefore we want to encourage you to go out and ensure that you have a good time. This is your time to rock back, to relax, to have some laughs, and to enjoy yourselves. Viewers and listeners, we want to thank each and every one of you for connecting with us here and for choosing the Tobago Updates morning show. It is Thursday, and we're looking forward, as Rhea would normally say, she's excited about Friday tomorrow as we prepare to wrap here for the Tobago Updates morning show. But we're inviting you to stay tuned and stay connecting, because we'll be heading straight on over to GMT with Candice Jackson, according to Eric Powder. Yes, it's Candice Jackson who will be coming up for GMT with us this morning. Because we want to thank you so much again to each and every one of you connecting with us online this morning. Joan Philip Pierre, Eric, big up yourself. All right, Julia Brown out there with us this morning. Leslie Ann Ellis, go Mr. Powder, and she's laughing with you. All right. This morning we see Dr. Faith B. Israel in the mix, Assemblyman Dr. Faith B. Israel, Selma Lashley, Miguel, Tobago Love, Giselle Donaldson Yates. And folks, we want to thank each and every one of you joining us this morning. QK Melville, Liesel James, thank you so much for the continued love and support, folks. This has been the Tobago Updates morning show, coming to you here live from the Port Mall in Scarborough. And yes, you just heard the promise, courtesy Alan the Entertainer. We'll have some tickets to give away in tomorrow's segment. So remember to connect with us tomorrow morning. We're going to get the questions and the answers from him, and hopefully he and Eric Powder will give us serious answers, so that when we ask those questions, you all can get it right. All right, to win some tickets tomorrow in our Friday edition of the Tobago Updates morning show. Viewers, thank you so much for the continued love and support. Stay tuned as we head straight on over to GMT with Candice.
Remember life before 2020? Remember 2019 and behind, go back. But I remember them times, you forgot it, me too. So much of new norms. We walking around like bandits. We have curfews. Shops closing early. You must have sleeps. One long time. In 2019, when they sneeze, what people they say? Yes, you try to pass a sneeze in this room right now.
Saturday, November 5th, Shore Park, Tobago. It's Million Laughs Caribbean Comedy Commerce, the mega laugh festival to end the Tobago carnival season, featuring Tobago's finest in folklore and musical entertainment, together with some of the Caribbean's top comedians: Larry Joseph, Daryl the Saint Mendoza, Dolores, Alan the Entertainer, Handsome Sun, Mako Media, and more. Get your ticket specials available on Island E-Tickets and various outlets nationwide, or visit the Million Laughs handles for more info. It's Comedy Commerce in Tobago, a wee kind of commerce.
Tobago, this is Larry Joseph. Saturday, 5th November, the only place to be is Million Laughs Caribbean Comedy Commerce, Shore Park, Tobago. The only comedy for the entire family. Tobago, Commerce and Larry, a wee kind of commerce.
I am Ram and I'm Co. Together we are Ram and Co. Big up Million Laughs, because on Saturday, November 5th, it is Caribbean Comedy Commerce.
It can be hot. The best Trinidadian and Caribbean comedians will be there.
For sure. Big up Alan the Entertainer. Big up Larry Joseph and everybody else who's on the cards.
That's right.
We endorse this show. Big up Alan. Big up Million Laughs. It's going to be an epic show. We endorse this. Be there. There ain't nothing like a Rum and Co. Barbados.
Yeah.
Saturday, November 5th, Shore Park, Tobago. It's Million Laughs Caribbean Comedy Commerce, the mega laugh festival to end the Tobago carnival season, featuring Tobago's finest in folklore and musical entertainment, together with some of the Caribbean's top comedians: Larry Joseph, Daryl the Saint Mendoza, Dolores, Alan the Entertainer, Handsome Sun, Mako Media, and more. Get your ticket specials available on Island E-Tickets and various outlets nationwide, or visit the Million Laughs handles for more info. It's Comedy Commerce in Tobago, a wee kind of commerce.
Welcome back to Good Morning Tobago on Tobago Updates, your source for current affairs in Tobago, Trinidad, and the region, with the perfect conversations to complement your morning routine. I am Candace Jackson, and let's get started with the news in 90 seconds. Chief Secretary Falia Augustin announced that the THA is preparing to make unconventional moves to achieve its mandate to the people of Tobago. Augustin spoke during a televised update following an annual meeting of the Executive Council and administrative heads of the THA to prioritize plans for the budgetary allocation. After receiving $1.27 billion less than requested, Augustin said that the THA would be forced to go against the status quo and get creative to finance projects. He explained that they would utilize public-private partnerships more with alternative funding methods. The Chief Secretary warned that it will attract criticism, but he is willing to enter uncharted waters to keep their promises to the people of Tobago. Among the priorities announced by the Chief Secretary for fiscal 2023 were a food and transportation hub for Roxborough, coastal repair works near the Fairfield complex, the start of the construction of the new Scarborough Secondary School, new radiology equipment for the hospital, 50 homes for residents affected by the airport relocation, and repairs to the Black Rock and Kendall pools. And now nationally, Citizens were shocked and outraged after viewing a social media video where children in the Rose Hill RC Primary School in the East Dry River were forced to duck under desks and shield themselves from bullets. The incident reportedly occurred on Monday, and the teacher was heard in the video telling the students to stay down. In response, the Minister of Education, Dr. Nayan Gaspi-Dolly, said she reached out to the Commissioner of Police about the situation at the school and similar instances at other schools in Trinidad. There are ongoing discussions about possibly relocating some of the schools that are subjected to daily gunfire or moving classes online. Counseling is being arranged for affected students, teachers, and parents. And of course, that's some pretty disturbing news coming out of Trinidad. But turning our discussions over to Tobago this morning, and yes, continuing our discussions in regards to the carnival, let me tell you something, the debates, the perspectives, the opinions, they're not done yet on the Tobago Carnival Festival that we just had. And turning now to our tourism perspective, we have on set with us the Vice President of the Tobago Hotel and Tourism Association, none other than Carolyn Bridgewood James. Good morning and welcome to you.
Thank you very much. It's always a pleasure to be here. Yes.
So there's a lot of debate about, you know, Carnival being a success, whether or not it was a success. But success, as we know, can come in different aspects. So from the accommodation sector standpoint, was Carnival a success?
Yes, it was a resounding success. How we term success, it's safety of our people, no major incidents, thousands of people here, and of course, for Caribbean Airlines and the charter flights, so we had quite a few foreigners as well as locals. Everybody enjoyed themselves, so it was a success.
And what kind of numbers did we see in the accommodation sector?
Well, we don't have numbers as such. We have percentages. That will take a little while to come. But on Thursday evening, our running poll with our members, we had 85% occupancy. That was Thursday. And obviously you had Friday and Saturday, so obviously it would have gone up to about 90%, 90 plus. So as far as we are concerned, it was a great event. And safety is always a priority when you have a tourism island. And when you have an event in a tourism island, especially the kind of numbers that we have been getting, our crime numbers we've been getting in recent weeks, so that makes it a success. Yes.
So in other words, the police, they did a good job in making sure that all the visitors were safe.
Yes, the police, the TTPS, TIMA, all the unseen forces, because you'd have eye in the sky kind of things and so on. And I also want to say the people helped to make it a success. The police facilitate, but the people made it a success. They wine, they dine, plenty alcohol and so on. It's not easy, you know. I was from a high point and watching all these trucks passing, those trucks passing, alcohol flowing like water in these plastic cups and so on, people whining, grinding and whatever it is, and no major incidents. That's a great plus for our island and for our country.
And then, so, you know, we have the dates announced for Carnival, October 27th to the 29th in 2023.
That's right.
Now, has that resulted in anybody as yet being like, hey, book my rooms, I'm ready to come back?
Well, we have to ask the hoteliers. But I would say for me, yes, we have people, our property was, we had promoters and technicians and so on, DJs and all of that, okay? And of course, they are coming back next year, you see, and we did have 2 fetes during the carnival week, one the Wednesday and one the Friday, and they are going to come back. So I'm sure it is the same for most people. People are doing a review. You know, I don't talk about post-mortem because post-mortem is dead people, and this carnival and live, we don't talk about post-mortem with tourism. Okay, so we're going to have to do a review or evaluation, and I'm sure plenty of people are doing that and so on. But we had plenty events too. That's all made it successful. Plenty events for our visitors to go to. They had a great choice. You see, so I would say it was a success. And we made money. I spoke to plenty of people. Hoteliers, guest house owners, vendors, restaurateurs, craft people, general people came and gave their opinion and so on, and they all felt it was a success. And everybody said, we enjoy ourselves.
So, you know, I mean, there's that conversation out there about, you know, the money that was spent for Carnival. And, of course, it originally was carded for 17.5, but we know that less was spent. And there's some people that, like, you know, they don't see where the money went. But, I mean, when we spoke to the chairman of the Carnival Committee yesterday and even the Secretary of Tourism this morning, you know, they were like, this was an investment in the people. So would you be able to say now from that standpoint that the money really was an investment into the business sector and there was some returns in that perspective?
Well, I've always heard the argument. People talk about, like, when you have the jazz, what is the return on your investment? But you see, the state is a facilitator always, okay? And this is a first carnival that they will be facilitating. There wouldn't be I have an event and it's a profit and loss sheet. It comes like public transport. Public transport never made any money. But you have to facilitate people going to work, older people who want to take the bus and that kind of a thing. So this is what you have. You have a facilitation going on here. And therefore, I'm not sure how much the figure was, but I could see a lot of money was spent. All those revelry and whatever it is, all those banners all over the place and so on. So it is a facilitation to make sure that your first event came off well. And you will always have to facilitate, because the state role is to advertise Tobago. That's a state role. Our role as hoteliers is to advertise our properties. We don't advertise Tobago. In advertising our properties, yes, inadvertently we advertise Tobago. But the state is responsible for advertising Tobago and advertising Trinidad. That's how we have TTAL, and that's how we have the entity in Trinidad.
And do you think that the state sufficiently advertised Tobago for this carnival?
Well, the time was short, because you need to advertise far and wide. The time was short. So I would give them 75% because of the timing, you see. But now you have a whole year. Some of those reports, look, Sunday evening I wrote my report, look, I have it here. And the chairman of that committee by tomorrow should have a report already. That's how we do it in business. Okay? You can't wait for a month to have the report. No, that report should be almost here already. People have said, you have seen everything you have to see. People have said everything they have to say. And therefore, you already should have had a report handed to the secretary by tomorrow, because you're already making preparations for Monday morning. Right? Your review, your evaluation will come in your report. And so you have a report, and you will also have an evaluation, and I'm hoping they have it in public. So people like myself can come out with a little mini report and say what is what. Okay? Yes.
So what were some of the issues or the points that you want to highlight from your report to the Carnival Committee?
Oh, well, first thing I want to say, keep the carnival in October. Well, I see they are doing that.
Yes.
We have to have events all through the year, and you cannot have events only in dry season. Okay, so you make adjustments. You know it's a rainy season. If you are a promoter, you have to have plan A and plan B.
Right.
You know you're coming down to the beach at Cano Bay. If it's not a bikini party or a bathing suit party or a wet fete, then you know you have to make a plan B. Okay, and I think that is fair enough. We talk about the mud is life. I wasn't sure what it was, but I was on the route on Juve morning, and I looked for the traditional mud mask. All our little brochures on this Tobago Carnival show mud mask creatures. Let's put it like that. Creatures. Masquerade. Okay? Let's put it masquerade. All right? But we didn't see any on the route. Like we are accustomed to fellas coming out of color hall, girls too, and all of that. From I'm a child to now. That's plenty years. But we had Mud is Life, which is a paid fete. No. You have to be careful what you advertise. All right? You must also have. You say it's mud mask, we must be able to see mud mask without going to the Mud is Life fete. Another point that was made to me is that you need to have marshals on the route. You need to have a nexus between the bands and the state. Meaning, you have to have marshals to move along the bands, so you didn't have the fiasco like what you had on Store Bay. Police cut off the music at 10 o'clock, end the Juve, and some bands did not cross the stage. Communication. A lot of people met me on Juve morning. What's next? After the Juve,
Yes.
what are you having next? And I talked to a lot of people. They said people ask them too, what's next? What are you having tonight? What are you having tomorrow? When are we going to see the pretty mass? Obviously, your communication somewhere broke down. Too many people. Your communication broke down. You cannot depend on Facebook alone. Okay? You also will have to do, I know we're watching the paper and all of that, but you need to do some kind of little mini booklet, maybe put up fort, maybe put up some little book reef, little pictures, places to go and see beside your carnival thing. And get your promoters to come early and tell you what you have, beside your official program, all the other events that you are having. So that would have helped. People coming up on the boat, there are screens on the boat that should be flashing all the time. How do we have an app? Do you have a whatever it is? How do we get to the program? You understand? So a calendar of events, you need to do that. You can't just depend on Facebook. I saw the secretary was here, but again, I'm talking about communication. Watch what you're saying. You see all this Grenada talk? We could have done without that angst. We could have done without it. I had Trinidadian friends. They came to see me on Monday. I'm not pleased with it. Not everybody gets it. I understand what she meant, but not everybody gets it. So the communication specialist is what every secretary in this new administration needs. A communication specialist. I didn't say a communication officer. A specialist who understands it, have experience, will tell you, hey, don't say that. You understand? So this is what they need. All right? And almost my last point. There was a cool down on Monday, an official cool down. But nobody knew it was a cool down. There was goat race on Sunday evening. Nobody knew there was goat race. Goat race needed now to come on your cool down day. So before people take the flight in the evening to go back to Trinidad or wherever they came from, they could go and watch 1 or 2 races in their thing. You can't have carnival closed at 6 and you want to have goat race. And it's not advertised. Again, communication, you have to pay attention. That committee, you have to pay attention to it. Also, I want to say, our stakeholders were not represented on the committee. Where do people sleep? They have to sleep at us. And you didn't include us. We understand tourism more than many of the people on the committee. Some of us have studied tourism, and therefore I am saying there should have been a presence of our accommodation stakeholders on your committee. We have 190 members. Our association is the biggest NGO on the island, and we don't talk foolishness. We are serious people, everybody know that, and therefore we should have been included in the committee. There was no question as to reaching out to us. What do you think, Hotel and Tourism Association? What do you think you do? Do you have an input into the carnival? Okay.
Now, do you think that if you guys had a bigger voice on the committee, then that you might have been able to help champion the cause towards Carl to put on flights at an earlier date?
Well, yes. That's right. Because this is one of the things, I have a point here with Carl, but these are the things that we are accustomed to, and we would tell you, look, people have to plan before, and we would have asked Carl to put out their extra flights earlier. Of course, the flights coming earlier and people snapping them up, but still, okay? Remember, people have to budget. We've just come out of a pandemic. Few people have money all over the place. You have to look for it. And
because people have work and all those things.
That is correct. So our presence on the committee, I am sure would have been beneficial, and might not have made some of these gaffes that we did, because we understand. You have to. Today is too late for you to start planning. Monday you should have already started planning for next year. Right? Your committee has 6 months. I think it expires when tomorrow or something like that.
Yes.
Okay. Hello. Members of the new committee should have already be on standby to be appointed on Friday evening. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes,
certainly. That's how it's done. When we go to World Travel Market, like they're preparing to do for next week, when you sign contracts, it is for the next, it is not for 2023. It is for 2024, 2025, 2026. 23 is gone already. All right. So in light of that kind of experience, I could tell you we are late already. Okay. In the first place, you're appointed for 6 months, so let's see what you're going to do. If you're going to appoint for another 6 months or another year.
Do you think that we should have a permanent committee set up just to deal with Tobago Carnival?
That's an interesting perspective. Yes and no. Yes, because it will give some permanence to it, but you also want to have members of your committee that are flexible. That's the word I'm going to use. Okay, so I am saying a 2-year appointment is great. So it will allow you to have some experience, gain some experience, and the new people on the block coming in, you can move some members of the committee, put new people, and so on. But at least 2 years, because you have a committee 6 months, and I would say they did a pretty good job. I've given the Tobago Carnival an 8 out of 10. Okay, safety. Do you see that safety? Bring up that 8.
We can't underestimate the safety.
You can't underestimate it. And that's a good advertisement for Trinidad and Tobago, especially at this time.
And of course, we have to continue to thank the police,
right,
the TPS for being out there and making sure that we were safe.
So the committee has a 6 months experience. What are you going to do with them? You're going to disband and put a new committee? I would say no. I would say to keep most members of the committee. You might want to change some people. If you have people who are not talking in the committee and all of that, you have to change some people. Or you might have to add on. You have to put us there. We have to be present, or whoever member you want to take. But we have to be present on that committee too. But there's institutional knowledge now that we have built for your new committee and appoint them for a year or 2 years. I want to say this.
Okay. We'll be very quick because you got to wrap up.
Yes. The state and other entities have to watch those free shows. You have promoters, and you want your promoters to be successful. You have to be careful of your heavy pavement jam or your free shows that you are having. And I'm talking to the state. Yeah, you're going to have a free show for those who can't think, but at the same time you have your promoters. But I give the THA and the committee, TTPS and so on, 8 out of 10. I think it was well done, and we, the stakeholders, we are happy.
All right, great. And on that note, that's how we will leave this conversation. I want to thank you so much, Mr. James, for being on with us and giving us that accommodation sector perspective on the Tobago Carnival. And viewers, now we're going to be turning to a conversation with the Commander and Chief of the Caesars Army, Mr. Jules Soban. And Soban, sorry. And we continue our conversation. Was Tobago Carnival a success? And from what perspective was it a success, if you think it was a success?
Good morning, everyone, and thanks for having me. I believe that the carnival was a success. In fact, I echo the sentiments of Caroline Birchwood James in terms of what she has highlighted in terms of the safety of the carnival. I think that is the most important mechanism for evaluating success. Given our current situation in terms of crime, for Tobago Carnival to have a very safe carnival, an incident-free carnival, I think is phenomenal. So ideally, I think that is the first thing that should be highlighted based on the Tobago Carnival. Now, I think the second thing that is really important is that, true to the words of the Secretary, I felt personally, my opinion, it was indeed a spectator's spectacle. It was a masquerader's masquerade. Even on the parade route itself for the Sunday, it was so amazing to see the generational attraction of the carnival. We're talking about mature audience, we're talking about young audience, we're talking about young children, toddlers, young children playing mass. That was really integral for me. I now have a 8-month-old child, and this was her first carnival, right? And to me, I think that, I mean, I can't put it into words for her, but she enjoyed it in such a way that she was looking at the sights and the songs and the characters, the Dame Lorraines, the gorillas, the sailor mass. I mean, it was truly a spectator spectacle. And for me, the route itself was so iconic, you know, being around the water. I mean, you transgressed through the highway and you came around. I mean, the carnival itself, from the Juve to the night mass to the actual parade of bands, I think it was really, really iconic in terms of a Tobago carnival. So yes, I do say thumbs up to the secretary, Tashia Burris, assistant secretary, Megan Morrison, the chairman, Misha Trim, and the entire Tobago Carnival Committee. I think it was a great job done by the THA, Tobago Festivals, Tobago Tourism. I think it was a great job, and I would echo the sentiments and say 8 out of 10, 9 out of 10, because there's always room to do better.
Certainly. And now, I mean, even from a promoter's standpoint, you know, did it do what it intended to do? Were promoters happy, you know, with just the way how things turned out, participation, that sort of thing?
Well, first of all, they had a lot of rain. I mean, given all that was going on, there was a lot of rain. Now, I wouldn't say that's based hypothetically just based on the October. I mean, it was just unfortunate that I had a lot of rain. But I can tell you personally, again, Tobago has talent. So being an event producer from Trinidad, for example, I didn't have any events in Tobago, but I was recruited, my company was recruited to bring our expertise in the realm of road management for the 3 moving events, which would be the Juve, the Night Mass, and the parade. But I can tell you one thing from where I sit. Being experienced, being immersed in this Tobago Carnival, what I have learned is that Tobago has talent. Tobago has extraordinary talent. So for me, one of the main indicators, I think from a successful standpoint, is that now I can look to Tobago for digital media specialists. I can look to Tobago for graphic artists. I can look to Tobago for videographers, photographers. I can look to Tobago for artists, DJs, you know? So with this immersing myself into the Tobago Carnival experience, what I can see moving forward is me now collaborating, let's say from a Caesar's Army standpoint, to bring in that talent to what I do, not just from a domestic standpoint, but from a regional standpoint, as well as an international standpoint. And I think that's a very big point for me now, because I just didn't know that Tobago had so much talent, especially in my realm of the creative industry, the entertainment industry. I think this is something that has now built a bridge for Trinidad and Tobago to now understand that we can work together to achieve global products and achieve global greatness.
Now, as you mentioned that collaboration, do you think that enough of Tobago's talents, Tobago's creatives, benefited from this carnival as opposed to the involvement of the Trinidad experts like yourself?
Well, I can definitely say that now I am able to see brands of Tobago standing up strongly, proudly. So let's just say from the carnival aspect, let's say I'm from Trinidad and I only understand Tribe and Yuma and Ronnie and Caro, for example. Now I'm understanding brands such as Fog Angels, Arcadia, Iconic, Mother's Life, right? So now, to me, this is more important. This is where the collaboration now stands true. We are able to understand and identify brands from Tobago that now we can build a bridge to collaborate. Who knows? 2023 is approaching. This may be the chance for Caesar's Army to now include Adana into our cast of events, if you catch what I'm saying now. And I think that if you have really immersed yourself in the true Tobago Carnival experience, this is the wisdom that you're bringing back to wherever it is that you do your carnival, right? So just as I am a Trinidadian and I am embracing Tobagonian and understanding the brands that are being lifted up at this point in time, It's the same way that persons from around the region, Caribbean, are coming and seeing these brands and seeing this creative industry. It's the same way that the internationals who visited Tobago Carnival are now going to include Tobago's brands on that global level. So I definitely think that this experience has opened up my eyes in such a way that I am more looking to forge stronger relationships with my Tobago comrades.
I mean, and that's certainly good news to hear. We've had a lot of debate within our space, especially among the creatives, that not enough of them got the airplay or got that stage in Tobago. I mean, there is that debate, perhaps too much of it went to Trinidad. But you're saying here that you actually saw a lot of talent. You saw a lot that, that you never knew existed, and that you're willing to collaborate and use even in Trinidad. So do you think that some of the criticisms are a bit premature in that sense?
I do believe so. I mean, some of the criticisms may have come from persons who have not really engaged themselves in the full Tobago Carnival experience. For me personally, I think that this is the foundational block that has been built. So yes, it's going to take some more time. As Ms. Birchwood James would have highlighted, we need to start preparing from yesterday, right? In terms of a Tobago Carnival for the second year of its installment. If you catch what I'm saying, it's going to build over time. But Rome was not built in a day based on what I believe in. So it's really going to take some work in terms of building up what I can see as an iconic Tobago Carnival and a stronger relationship with its stakeholders. But I can definitely tell you that the foundation is very solid from where I sit. I see great potential. In fact, I'm speaking to persons currently at this time to be working on Trinidad products for me from a Tobago standpoint. It's already in the pipeline in terms of what I have seen, what I believe in, and what I want to implement as soon as I can. So I think, yes, maybe it has been faster for me because I have been really immersed in it from being a consultant for the Tobago Carnival, for being so deeply immersed into all of the planning and all of the events. But I can tell you, in year 2, I guarantee that Tobago Carnival is going to be an iconic, must be looked upon event or carnival on the carnival calendar of the globe. It's going to happen because from this first installment, I believe honestly that it has turned heads and is now getting global attraction for people to visit in 2023.
And again, that continues to be, music to our ears here in Tobago. Now, looking ahead to 2023, what are some of the things that you want to see worked on or shaped up better? Because, of course, we know that this year's execution was not perfect. There were some shortfalls. But what do you think that needs to be concreted or formalized to make 2023 an even bigger success?
Planning,
sorry,
and not just planning, but execution. So ideally, from what I have seen as a blueprint of Tobago's Carnival, I would just say ensure that the persons who are put in charge of planning the carnival start immediately as possible. Wherever there are voids that need to be fixed, put in or bring in the specialists or the skill sets that can ensure that a holistic carnival can take place. So I can give you one example. Caesar's Army was brought in to bring the expertise of road management. We do a lot of road management home. So we have a lot of moving events, whether it be a Bacchanal Road or Ambush Juve. We were able to bring some form of expertise to the moving aspects of the events that were held for the carnival, right? That would be Juve, Night Mass, and the parade. One of the most important things that was highlighted that we should do, given that we were bringing our expertise, is that we needed to have a 2-day workshop with the Tobago stakeholders so that they can benefit from the wisdom and the experience or the expertise so that they can do it on their own. They wouldn't no longer need someone to come from Trinidad to bring that expertise. We want to actually build that within Tobago. So capacity building is very necessary. If it is that we are strengthening a Tobago Carnival, we need to ensure that people can now actually put on, produce events, strengthen their brand awareness via marketing. And as Ms. Birchwood James said, the communications aspect of what the carnival represents. Remember, it's not just the events that we are trying to create awareness for. We are also going to try to see how can we bring goat racing into the mix of the carnival? How can we highlight the Boko Reef in different attributes? How can a person still come to the carnival and still get to visit Tobago in its holistic sense, right? Because I found that even when I was, let's say after the Sunday, my team was there from Monday, maybe Monday, Tuesday after. And we wanted to explore Tobago, given that, you know, the carnival was done. What else does Tobago have to offer? So the communication of what you can do, what you can see, what you can experience for Tobago is going to become important. So really and truly, I would say the capacity building, strengthen the foundation of this carnival at this point in time, and strengthen the communications, the marketing aspect of the carnival in time for 2023. And I can definitely tell you, you'll be expecting greater numbers. More persons will be interested in it. Of course, we have to also make sure that we accommodate for our ferry and our flights. All of that is in anticipation of a greater global awareness for Tobago Carnival in 2023.
All right, and I guess that's an excellent point now to leave this conversation. I want to thank you so much, Mr. Sylvain, for just giving your perspective. I mean, and I hope that these are some of the things that the future Carnival Committee takes on board as we hope to build this carnival to a greater and a bigger thing, and certainly a more permanent thing on the calendar.
Most definitely. Thanks for having me.
Thank you so much. All right, viewers. Well, we're moving full speed ahead this morning, moving like lightning this morning, and we're going to our next conversation with the Diabetes Association of Trinidad and Tobago. So we're going to be speaking with Mr. Lester Frederick. And of course, he's one of the members of the Diabetes Association. And yes, they're talking about Run That 2022.
Yes.
So tell me about that Run That 2022.
All right. Good morning, and good morning to Tobago. Are we beyond Tobago?
Yes, we're beyond Tobago, into the Caribbean, and of course the world.
All right. Good morning to our viewing audience. And yes, I am Lester Frederick. I am one of the members of the Diabetes Association of Trinidad and Tobago. And it's the first of this event that the Diabetes Association would be having in Tobago. And our focus now is on, it's not really just run, it's run and walk.
Okay.
So we're going to be having our run walk next weekend from the Shaw Park Cultural Complex. We're going up the highway and go down the highway, and we're turning across onto the Lambo Village Street, and we're coming back up on the back road. But more importantly, because of course by the name of the organization, by virtue of its name, we're focusing on education and preventing as much as possible management of diabetes going forward. And we also have online someone else that will be joining us shortly to give more meat to that.
I mean, and diabetes is an extremely important topic that we constantly, it's something that we need to keep in our minds, because, you know, we saw during the COVID-19 pandemic, diabetic persons were some of the most affected when it comes to fatalities due to the COVID-19 virus. And, you know, we need to continue to take care of ourselves. You know, what did the association, you know, notice over the past couple of years in terms of your membership and those people with diabetes? You know, are people becoming more aware of their diabetes and what they need to do to control it or even to avoid developing it in their systems?
I love that question, and I love the way in which you phrased it, because diabetes doesn't only affect senior citizens, as we may have thought in many years gone by. Diabetes even affects the unborn child, unfortunately. And it's no longer going to wait until you let's say, develop a bad habit or something happens to you hereditary. Diabetes, you know, it's there. And the association would be and has been trying our very best to not more than just have activities, but to educate, because education is one of the most powerful tools that any individual or organization can utilize. And so we will teach and we will inform, and we're going to be having quite some activities. As I indicated, it's the first of the Tobago branch, so to speak. And we are focusing on activities, because that physical activity is one of the main tools for preventing and management, so to speak. Because of course, you know, medication over a period of time would, you know, cause, you know, different situations, because you would have kidney issues and all of that going forward,
yes,
because it's a whole bunch of synthetic medication. And so it's not that we in no way at all trying to downplay medication, but then if we can educate and assist persons to better take care of ourselves, it will save the problem, because diabetes, you know, is just one of those things that affect the entire body in some way or the other, and it also affects even the family, and what affects the family affects the community, and not before long it affects the country and the world. So hence the reason we're really focusing on trying our best to manage diabetes. Of course, we can't get rid of it.
Certainly. Now, we are also joined by Ms. Anessa Mento, and she's a mental health nurse and a volunteer at the Diabetes Association of Trinidad and Tobago. And a special good morning and welcome to you.
Good morning, Candice. Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be here this morning. So my job this morning here is to inform you and promote our first run walk event in Tobago. This is on November 13th, 2022 at the Shopper Cultural Complex. The event starts at 3:30. We'll be having warm-up sessions. Then the race actually starts at 4 p.m. 4 p.m. It is a 5K, but we also have a shorter route for persons who cannot do the entire 5K. So we are accommodating all persons, even the disabled person, the differently abled persons. At the event, we will have display booths. We'll also have blood sugar testing, and we also have blood pressure testing. So we are encouraging persons to come out in their numbers, know your status. Come make it a fun activity. And as Mr. Frederick would have indicated, that November is Diabetes Awareness Month. So, and one of the activities that we are also having apart from the run walk is the Canaan Bunny Diabetes Association is having a mini health fair at the Penny Savers supermarket tomorrow from 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. tomorrow. So I'm encouraging the public to please visit Penny Savers and get your blood sugar done, get your blood pressure done, get more literature on what is diabetes, how to manage diabetes, and there you can also referrals to outreach sessions or outreach centers can be given. And I'm making the public cry now to for all those in the public when you are having your events, please don't feel free. Feel free to invite the Diabetes Association in all of your events. We will make it our duty to be present, to continue the education, and in order to protect tomorrow.
Now, we know diabetes is a lifestyle disease, and one of the ways in which we can keep it at bay and even control it, if you're unfortunate enough to develop it, is through exercise. And, I'm guessing that that's the correlation between using a 5K run, walk, to do your outreach. Sure. So tell me about, why is it so important? I mean, a little bit more about, the importance of exercise and the importance of movement in controlling diabetes within our systems.
All right. As we had touched on earlier, that medication would only do so much. And you really want to help the medication, let's put it that way. Because what would happen is with the diabetes or the blood sugar issues would bring along other issues. It would bring along cardiac issues, it would bring along renal issues, it would bring along neuropathic issues, all sorts of things would come along with that. And of course, it would affect males in terms of reproduction and females as well. So the exercise or the activity would assist the body in burning up that extra or excessive amount of sugar in our system. And of course, it would, reduce some cholesterol, it would reduce some fat, it would tone up some muscle, it would keep us in fit, it would assist with cardiac complications. So we really want to, use that exercise, and it's not that vigorous type exercise. Hence the reason we say run walk. So for those persons who are unable to run the entire route, we encourage you to come and walk. And for those who are unable to walk, if you have a wheelchair or a walker, bring that too.
The point is just to get moving.
The point is to get there. And I like that. For all you know, it might just be our next theme, get moving. So, right. So that might be.
So you might have to give us some royalties where that's concerned.
Exactly.
All right. Well, viewers, so we have this walk run happening, and you have some of the outreaches, and I want Miss Mentor to just give us an idea as to when and where this is happening, because everybody needs to be a part of it. When and where, and then how can they get in contact with the Diabetes Association for more information?
So the run walk starts and finishes at the Shopper Cultural Complex. Registration can be done via the website at www.rundat.org, or you can contact us at 707-3288. And there are also physical locations that persons can get registered. That is the Senior Citizens Activity Center at Canaan. You go there, you ask for Miss Glenda, and she will be gladly there to help you. Also at the pediatric ward at the Scarborough General Hospital, Nurse Kadir is also there, and she will also assist in the registration process.
All right, great. So, at this point, I just want to say thank you to you both for being on with us and just to share us a little bit about that walk that's happening. And of course, we need to be a part of it. We need to get moving, because diabetes is too much a part of our population.
Very much so.
All right, viewers. Now, sorry, Ms. Mentor, did you Want to say something?
Yes, we are asking everyone, come out to this event, make it a family affair, make it a lime, just come out and have fun. The main thing is to be moving, to get that physical activity in. So come out, make it a fun thing to do. Make physical activity something fun.
Great. There you have it, folks. So make it your duty to be there. Thank you again, Mr. Frederick, Miss Mentor, for being on with us. And before we wrap our show this morning, I just want to do a little bit of housekeeping. And we have a monster sale going on at American stores. So I think the ad is supposed to be going up on your screen right now. And just for today only, there is a refrigerator on sale for $7,171. So if you are in the market for a new fridge, we know Christmas is coming up, and you probably want to get on those sales before the Christmas rush. There you go. Check out American stores and see what deals they have on refrigerators. Of course, this specific one, and you never know what else you can find down there. So make your way down to American stores and find the deals that you need. Early Christmas shopping. All right, viewers, again, that's how we're going to have to wrap this morning show. It was a pleasure being with you all. It was a kind of fast-paced kind of thing going on here, but that's how sometimes we do it here at Tobago Updates. All right, and we'll see you again tomorrow at 7 a.m., yes? So you don't want to miss it. Bye for now.
Tobago updates. Good morning, Tobago. Wake up with Candace and Denasia.
Let's go. It's a brand new morning. Rise up to a brand new dawning as the passion start to rise.